there he goes, folks. He goes, new guy coming through. I don't know. That was fun for me. Yeah.
It was.
Upload was brought to you by Horizon, Adam Sandler Movies, Citibank, In-N-Out, Taco Bell, Bloomingdale's, Facebook, Panera Bread, Ralph Lauren, Orbit's Gum, Google, Samsung, probably a few other things I forgot.
Upload was a pretty cool, if not slightly unbelievable, take on the future.
Upload was new and interesting and complex.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast, the podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series and we talk about it. If you want us to review first episode of a series, in the comments below, just say WTF and the series. WTF Battlestar Galactica, WTF Star Trek Next Generation, things like that. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, comment a ton. And by the way, we're here with Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, as always, comedian and funny guy. Same thing.
Hi.
We're joined today by actress, writer, producer Heidi Cox.
Hi.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. Michael, what was this thing about, by the way?
So the synopsis that I got from, what is this, Amazon Prime, in 2033, people can be uploaded into hotels run by 6 tech firms. I guess there's only 6 in the future. Cash-strapped Nora lives in Brooklyn and works in customer service for the luxurious Lakeview digital afterlife. When LA party boy / coder Nathan's self-driving car crashes, his high-maintenance girlfriend uploads him permanently into Nora's VR world. And this is what it made me want to watch it, is this show is created by Greg Daniels, who everybody knows brought us the American Office.
Yeah. When I heard that afterwards, I was like, well, why wasn't it funnier than that? But I guess
interesting.
I guess Heidi disagrees. Why do you disagree with that initial thought?
I just think, well, there's a lot of pieces at play, especially in the first episode. I mean, it's definitely setting up for something pretty, I feel, complex. It's really interesting storytelling, and there is some humor in there. It's probably, I mean, there are things about The Office that are pretty cheesy and campy, and there's some campy things in this too, but it's definitely different with all the content branding and stuff. I mean, the only content branding that was in The Office was Chili's. Remember, they were always going to Chili's and talking about Chili's?
I know. I only watched the first episode of The Office.
Right.
Really? Yeah. Oh my, well, didn't they go to Chili's?
For this podcast.
They went to Chili's a few times. They had the Dundies there, but we're not going to talk about The Office right now. We're going to talk about Upload, Greg Daniels' new show.
Right. Well, that's what I'm talking about, is that there's a ton of content branding and examples of that in Upload, and it sort of just made me think of how they did that just a little bit with Chili's, but they kind of went nuts with it now, because that's what people are all about now. It's like their branding and their sponsors, and Yeah.
Did you guys notice that like, I noticed in the first 2 minutes, I was like, dude, it's talking about Orbitz, it's talking about Verizon, it's got Taco Bell. He's eating Cheerios, he's got the In-N-Out cup right next to him. And I was just like, dude, did they just say,
there's like a Starbucks coffee, right?
Yeah, let's get as much branding as we possibly can and just kind of write a script around it.
Yeah.
Is that what you think they did?
How can we connect it all? Even like Panera Bread, they're saying like aggressive restaurant chain Panera Bread takes over Facebook. What?
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I didn't think about the fact that it's possible that that's what they did. I thought that they were making fun of the fact that there's so much branding in the world now.
Well, they're definitely thumbing their nose at that a little bit. I mean, if in the Upload, in the Lakeview hotel Upload, there's like Horizon branding on the leaves. Even there's trademark stuff on the leaves.
Could you imagine? That's so crazy. Would you do it? If you could upload your consciousness to somewhere, would you do it?
Would I want to?
Wow, Heidi asked the tough questions right up at the top. She's like, let's get to it.
Could you imagine the amount of money that would go into that? I mean,
Yeah, that's a good question,
Yeah,
Michael.
let me, so I guess the question really is, do you want to live forever in this digital afterlife? And my answer would be no. I don't. So first of all, in this digital afterlife that they've created, where you get upsold on everything, no way.
Yeah, I know that was
That's
terrible.
true. Yeah, you'd have to have what kind of a retirement would you have to have? Like an
Right.
after death
Right.
retirement?
You just have to be loaded until
Yeah.
like not only after death, but forever you have to be loaded.
Right. What if the money runs out? Then what?
Right. Yeah. And so and then also you're just gonna get bored, even if you can play golf every day, or you can shoot pool every day, or whatever you like to do. You could do it every day, but you're going to get bored of it. You're going to get perfect at it, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're just going to be like, well, I mastered that. After you master everything, after 300 years, you're just going to be like, yeah.
Did you guys ever see the final episode of The Good Place?
No,
they kind of tackled that a bit, where they go up to heaven finally, and nobody's happy because they're just tired of everything, just because of exactly what you just said, Michael.
Right.
They've won every video game. Their favorite team wins the Super Bowl every year for 300 years. But I think if you were to ask me if I would do it,
would you do it?
Right now, yes. If I get hit by a car, I'm like, hey, I still want to keep going. I still want to. If I'm 80 or 90, I'd probably have a different response, because I'd be like, okay, I'm good. I'm tired. I just want to nap for a really long time.
That's your body. That's your body being tired. That's not your mind.
Well, your mind is tired, or maybe you don't want to live anymore. The people, once they get old, it's not just their bodies. It's that they're like, okay, I'm good. I've seen everything. I've done everything. And then there was the really interesting thing that they brought up that they just touched on, and they may cover this in future episodes. I would guess that they would, but I think the lady's dad said, I'm not going to do this thing because I'm waiting to meet my wife up in heaven. And that's nothing. It's like, if your wife is dead or your husband is dead, and then you go off to do this other thing, then you're just saying, I'm going to spend the rest of eternity without them. Maybe you don't want that.
Well, I think that would be what my deciding factor would be like, who would I be spending it with? The people that I want to spend that with, would they not be there? If they're not there, then no, absolutely not. But if there's a chance at this moment in my life, if there's a chance that people that I love would be there, then sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I get bored or not. I mean, I think it's sort of like a human, we're sort of bred that way. So who knows if it's just our consciousness? Like, I don't know. What would we get bored? I don't know.
Well, it does bring up some ethical questions too. Like, what is the meaning of life then if there's no death? Like, what are we even doing if we can just kind of keep doing it when we're in our afterlife? So. Yeah.
It's interesting because you notice that they're a little more blasé about death. They're like, but he was uploaded, so, or you're going to be uploaded, and
whatever, I'll just upload.
Yeah, I thought it was weird the way they uploaded him. That was like, I was like, oh my word. And what really got me was that mom and girlfriend were able to like watch it happen. Slightly traumatic.
Yeah, if we're gonna talk about that, I have to say that I was like, I think in my notes I said, oh, his head gets blown off and we see his anus. Like, that was just like weird.
Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about seeing his bum. I just remembered his head.
It was a nice butt, though. I mean, I don't think we actually saw the anal hole, but
I paused it and zoomed in.
Oh, I knew you would.
You would, Ryan.
No, but this is one of the qualms I had with the show, is that at some point somebody says something to the effect of, well, who knows? I think it was the main lady, Nora. She says, well, who knows? Your body's frozen. So in the future, maybe we could just bring you back. And I'm like, did we forget that you blew his head off?
I know, right?
Did you write that and then 5 pages later forget that you wrote that? Because his head's blown off.
Grow a new head. It's fine.
His head's blown off. So I don't know they didn't, I don't know. Maybe they explain that later, that they regenerate heads for future purposes.
I know, which is like the opposite of what people who do the like cryogenics now believe. They believe the most important thing to freeze is the head.
Totally.
So,
Michael, if you were cryogenically frozen, what body part would you like to be frozen?
Which I think all of it, right?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I would say probably all of it.
for sure. For sure.
The whole shebang.
Yeah.
What
Might
about
as well.
everything except for the head, like an upload?
No.
DNA. There's DNA there. So ideally, you could grow a whole new head. But the thing that really gets me too is that like some of those people that are uploaded, they don't choose to be younger. You know, like I think we saw that in the beginning, right? Yeah, like there are people. Some of them have like black and white photos, which I thought was kind of
Right.
funny.
That's cute.
Why
Yes.
would they not color them in?
I put that in my notes too. I'm like, you know that they could just add color to this, guys, but that means that the lady must have chosen to stay black and white. Either that or it's just
Yes.
more writing.
Or she didn't have enough money to get colored.
But I
Maybe.
think
That's a good point.
I think the lady is like the family member, like a family member of the people that own that company.
I thought that too, but then they didn't say that in the first episode.
Oh.
Oh, are you guys skipping ahead?
No, I thought that I can't. Yeah, I don't think that's like a spoiler. I
don't think it's a spoiler. My
She
wife
looked
and I have started watching some more of this show too. So
yeah.
She looks like she was rolled in flour. Like it certainly wasn't. It certainly wasn't like digitally, had the color removed, which would have looked better. It was like she was just powdered really white, and so it just looked like she was a baked good.
Like on Pleasantville, like that movie Pleasantville, where they put reflective makeup on people.
Mm. So, yeah, I mean, look, it was I forgot to ask this. This is what I wanted to start with. Before you watched Upload, what did you expect? We'll start with Michael. What did you expect?
I really expected a cool science fiction show, and I feel like that's what I got. I thought it was going to be. I think I got what I expected. I actually kind of forgot. I think when I started watching the first episode, that Greg Daniels had created it, so I didn't really have expectations of it being super funny. But I think I remembered from the pilot seeing that there was some jokes, or not the pilot, the trailer. I think I remember from the trailer that I saw some jokes. So I was like, okay, it's going to be a funny science fiction television show. And that's what I got. And so then when I went back and I saw, oh, wait, that's right, Greg Daniel created this. Then I was like, well, it's not as funny as The Office, but yeah, I agree with Heidi that they were setting up a lot of stuff, maybe for future episodes.
Heidi, did you? What were your expectations before you watched it? Had you heard something? Did you know anything about it? Had you seen previews?
No, I have Amazon Prime and I saw a trailer for it and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like extended afterlife. It looks really funny. Like I think I remember in the trailer there's like a dude that goes, "You're dead. What's up?" So and I thought that was really funny and I was like, I want to see what this is about because sorry, there's a motorcycle going by my house. The idea of uploading a consciousness is something that's been in sci-fi for a long time. So it's cool to see this take on it. And I it's actually, to me, it feels a little bit more, your background, it feels a little bit more complex than I expected it to be, actually. I appreciate that about it. There's a lot of layers to it. Things that are being set up. So.
I had the benefit of going into this completely naked, metaphorically. And
like you just had your head exploded and then you fell
and my derf and stuff was exposed. But I didn't know anything about it. I think our buddy Paul Hickman sent me a message a few days ago and he just said, "I'm watching Upload." And I didn't really know what that meant. And then he was like, "It's on Amazon Prime." I said, "Oh, I get it." He said, "It's pretty cool." And so Paul Hickman is a total sci-fi geek, so I assumed it was sci-fi. And with a name like Upload, it sounds technological. Shout out to Paul Hickman, by the way, executive producer and writer of Assassin's Apprentice with Marina Sirtis, Armin Shimmerman, and all those kinds of guys.
Plug.
Yeah, but produced by me, by the way. Once you said plug, I was like, oh yeah, I should probably plug that part.
Love Marina Sirtis.
Yeah, so but beyond that, I didn't expect any, I had no idea. And so what I was surprised by was that there was comedy. I didn't expect the comedy. I was just started watching the thing, and then they kind of put comedy in there, and I'm not really sure the comedy worked for me, to be honest. Like, tonally, I didn't think the comedy fit the dramatic or the serious parts of the show. And I also thought that the jokes just weren't that funny. Now, it's just the first episode, but they were hit or miss for me. I don't know. What do you guys think of the comedy aspects in the first episode?
I mean, it's not hilarious. I wasn't like rolling on the floor, but I thought it's dark. It's dark humor, but
right.
But what I like about it is that you don't feel, because sometimes dark humor for me personally, I feel a little like tired. It makes me tired. And it may just be, I don't know, like in a movie like Death to Smoochie, where like everything's sort of lit kind of dim and stuff like that. This one's very bright, and it's like, and here's a really weird joke about death. And I was like, haha, but I'm more into the story. I'm more like curious about what's going to happen. Like, why did he die like that? I want to, what happened? Like, what's up with this thing that he, like in the first episode, he talks about how he's creating his own, right? Like they talk about that.
Like a free afterlife.
A free afterlife that you don't have to pay for. So I imagine that could be some tech that somebody might want to
stop at all costs
for. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm more into that. I like the fact that it's funny, though. And then I think it's a half hour. It's not like an hour long.
It was an hour. It was 45 minutes.
Is it?
The first episode was, but the subsequent episodes are only a half hour.
Oh, yeah, right? Like it's a shorter, it's like a half hour comedy. So, yeah, I'm not like rolling on the floor, but I think it's clever. I definitely think it's clever and funny. And I'm still sitting there going like, how did somebody come up with this? I'm always amazed by things like that.
Well,
Any story.
They may have come up with it because Black Mirror did an episode very similar to this. That was the first thing I thought when I watched it. I was like, oh, it's just like that Black Mirror episode.
Oh, right. I like that episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I liked the story a lot. I liked the serious parts more than the comedy. I thought the comedy, like I said, wasn't that great. But what did you think of the comedy, Mike? Oh, and by the way, have you seen Death to Smoochie?
I have not. We're laughing because
I haven't seen in a long time.
My wife has a nickname for me. She calls me Smoochie.
So you guys should watch Death to Smoochie together.
Yeah, probably. I think I've seen parts of it before. I don't think I've seen the whole thing before. But
same. Yeah.
So the comedy in this show, yeah, I agree. It was dark comedy, and it's kind of subtle. Like for instance, in the scene right behind Ryan's head, when they're walking away, she's like, "Oh, what's your favorite smell?" And he's like, "Cinnamon buns," and then she farts.
Yeah.
You don't like scatological humor, huh?
No, I mean I
was asking Ryan. Sorry, Michael.
It was a little funny. I mean, it wasn't the funniest joke in the world.
I didn't find
the show, but
that's one of
cute.
That's one of the things specifically that I think about when I say that the comedy didn't work for me. Yeah. And believe me, not only am I not above fart jokes, I am all for them. So maybe I'm a highbrow fart joke connoisseur.
This is the second show that we've reviewed that you didn't like the fart joke.
Yeah, because I think it's because I'm a snooty, pooty joke guy. like, come on, there's so many funny.
You're artsy
fartsy. Thank you. Yeah,
artsy fartsy.
Ryan only likes fart jokes if he's the one farting and other people.
Well, the thing is, it has to be. There's so many funny fart jokes out there to be had. So if it's not that funny to me, I'm very disappointed. And I actually rewound it and went back and to rewatch that fart joke where I was like, is that a fart joke? And I was like disappointed. So I went back and watched it. I was like, yeah, she like, because I was hoping maybe she just squirted the scent out with her leg. Because I was like, that was not. And then the sound effect was just like, or something. I was like, this is just.
But here's the thing: I don't
either do a fart joke or don't.
I don't think that fart joke was meant to be like a disgusting fart joke. I think it's supposed to be like a cute little thing between the two of them, where it's like a little flirtation, almost a fart as a flirtation. So
Party, flirt,
how many
party,
times do you
party.
see that in anything? A fart as a flirtation.
Rarely per day.
I'm weird about. I'm picky about. You're frozen. Am I frozen?
We got you back. Yeah.
Okay. I'm picky about scatological humor myself, and I'm not like a no bathroom humor whatsoever person, but it definitely has to be. I didn't think that was particularly funny. I was like, oh, okay, and then moving on because I personally I won't even watch like Family Guy because there's too much bathroom humor in it. Like I'm like, ugh,
no, I like that. Well, for example, and I didn't write this thing, but to me, what I would have thought would have been funnier if she says, "What's your favorite smell?" And he says, "Oh, freshly baked cinnamon rolls." And she goes, "Check this out," right? And then he's like, "Oh, that's gross." And she goes, "Smell it." And he goes, "Ah, it's disgusting." She's like, "Yeah, you don't think we really have cinnamon?"
That would have been
farts.
funnier, yeah.
Because then she's messing with him, and she really, I don't know. To me, that would have been funnier.
That's not in the spirit of the show. That's not the voice of this show.
But that would be a funny joke.
But then she could have done a second one. She could have done a second one that says, "No, this one's really." But what was funny about the fart joke was when he wafted it. I was like, "Oh, is she gonna make him waft it?" And he did. I was like, "Okay, that part's funny." No, that was the one part I was like, okay.
I was grossed out by that. But overall, the humor is fine. I totally forgotten about that joke. Completely forgot about it. Wasn't in the first one he misses breakfast in the morning? Isn't that true? Yeah.
Right.
And there's that funny glitch where you can get I thought that was cool. I thought that was a really clever thing to do. Stuff like that. It's like clever humor. Rather than, like Office is a bit more cringe, slapstick, at least American Offices. So, yeah, it's just different.
Michael, did you like that glitch?
Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, I don't think that was once again. I don't think that that was the funniest joke, and I don't think that the jokes.
What was the funniest joke?
I don't even know. I'd have to go back and watch the whole thing, watching it just for that to try to figure it out. But like I don't think any joke hit make roll on the floor laughing your ass off. But the jokes were cute, and they kind of added to. It's more of a love story than anything, really. I would say even more than science fiction. It's a love story.
Right. There are a lot of, I'm kind of pooping on it right now or farting on it, but there was a lot of things I really liked. Like number one, anybody from LA was able to recognize the freeway signs and know that he was driving in Sherman Oaks, which was really cool. He saw Woodman on 101, Woodman and Van Nuys. So that was cool. They also had the futuristic cars, all the technology was slightly ahead of us. So I immediately guessed it's 10 years into the future, and it turned out it's 13. So they did that well for us to know pretty much immediately, okay, it's near future.
Yeah.
That was great. I also really liked, I'll tell you what I really liked about it, was her job and how the lady Nora and how it shows us the ins and outs of it. And it really made sense. When she was first walking them through it and she says, hey, think about your password. She says, think about the alphabet song, ABC, you don't have to sing it, just think about it. Think about the color blue. Little things like that. That was really good. I think that's an A+ to me.
Well, that's the kind of a spot on customer service call center too. I mean, I've worked in customer service call centers before, and that's what it's like. I mean, obviously I didn't have 3 monitors at my job, but then I was working for a high-tech Horizon company like this that ran at the super bougie digital afterlife.
Ugh.
But that's how it is. I mean, you have to kind of please the clients and placate them to some extent. And yeah.
I wasn't saying that the glitch was the funniest joke either. I just think it's a cool detail. I think there's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
really cool
absolutely.
details in this story, and I appreciate that as a writer. I'm like, wow, okay,
Mhm.
and
Totally.
also, by the way, Lakeview, that would not be my choice. I don't think I would choose that place.
I don't know. It looked nice to me. I liked it.
It looks like your I
Big
used to.
Bear.
I guess, yeah, Big Bear, or like like Ralph Lauren catalog, or like
Which they
I,
mentioned.
yeah, I know. I was trying to think of the other one, the one I used to work with. I used to work at what's the other store? Not Ralph Lauren, but
Bloomingdale's,
no, I'll think of it. But it's just
Gucci,
no, not
Louboutin.
no. Those are super fancy. No, not
I don't
those.
know.
But I'd rather go somewhere that looks like Rivendell or something like that.
Ooh, yeah.
Boy, you should start up your. Everybody would go to that.
Yeah.
Rivendell or Star Trek. You could go to
Yeah.
Ryza.
Peaceful. I feel like Rivendell would be nice and peaceful. So
Elves is.
I think that's a really good thing to think about is where would you go if you were the designer of one of these things? Rivendell would definitely be one.
That's top 3, I would say, for sure.
What are the other 2, Mike, in your top 3?
Yeah, probably Star Trek and
Just general Star Trek, like on a starship or on Deep Space Nine or Ryza.
yeah, definitely next gen era
Yeah.
of Star Trek.
Not Discovery.
No.
I would hope for better lighting though than what's do you know what I mean? Like I like the lighting in the way that Picard's shot as opposed to TNG's still really good. It's my favorite track, but there's a bit of a fluorescent light feel to it sometimes,
Sounds nice. I think I'd go to definitely Middle Earth. I'd go to either Middle Earth or something in Star Trek. I'm trying to think of something better. I guess it might be
Why
fun
not both?
to be in like the X-Men kind of world, because you can't die again. You've died. So why not be a superhero and like do amazing things forever? But that might get
I guess that's true. I was kind of thinking like, yeah, Star Wars would be cool, but then I don't want to live in like a dangerous universe like that. But then if you're dead already,
Star Wars looks like it smells too.
well,
right?
some parts of it, yeah.
Well, if you're in Middle Earth too, is it Middle Earth without Mordor? Like what? Like I would say Hobbiton, Rivendell. That'd be it. Like nothing else. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, if you're in the digital afterlife, you're going to get bored of the same old smells. So you're going to want something stinky every once in a while.
Yeah, but I think, for me personally, I'd rather smell the earthy essence of an orc and an ogre and a pipe smoking hobbit than smelling like the Millennium Falcon with no air, no circulated air after Chewie's done pooping or whatever.
You think that, but you might get tired of smelling Hobbiton and pipe smoke. You might like long for the stench of the Falcon. After a couple of 100,000 years.
That's a good point. You make a good point. You do. But you guys talk about how after 300 years you might get bored. Do you see elves getting bored after hundreds of years of living? They don't.
No, that's what they do. That's why they leave. They go to the Grey Havens.
That would just be what. Oh, that's true. Well, whatever.
It's like there's no right answer to this. I feel like we're so close to cracking the code, but now I just don't know anymore.
Rivendell all the way, because the yogi in me would like that. I'd be like, I'm gonna meditate forever, but then you want to go to Hobbiton too because you want to laugh, because you can't. I don't know. I don't really see elves laughing that much.
Yeah, you want to have a second breakfast and
that'd be the best. You could just eat all the time, and it's
if you have enough money.
Right. Yeah, that was the thing too. It was like I felt for him. Like I was like, what about his family? Like he talks to his girlfriend, he doesn't speak to his mother. Like he can't get a hold of her. What's happening there? And
obviously you're not supposed to like that high maintenance girlfriend Ingrid, but man, it's just like they just kind of kept hitting you over the head with how terrible she is.
And
Yeah.
why does she want to control him so badly if they haven't even been dating that long, And
Yeah. I thought they definitely made like a hard left turn on her. At first, it was just like she was a regular girlfriend at dinner. She seemed fine. She comes and crawls up to him and the little girl, in a playful manner. She's sweet. She's fine. They hump in the car on the way back. She's like, "Oh, come get," and it makes you think, yeah, this is what the future is. People will have these self-driving cars. You could do whatever you want in your car. It seemed all that stuff, the tech and the serious stuff, was so realistic and so well thought out, and really, I thought it was really good. I was very happy with all that stuff. But then it was when they did the humor that I was like, the humor, man, you guys got to, anyway, like, for example, after his accident, suddenly they're trying to, I don't know, it just didn't work. Like, he's literally dying, and we're supposed to believe that he's perfectly still a functioning human, but the doctor's like, sorry, you're about to die in 30 seconds. I mean, he looked pretty fine to me. Right. He had a couple cuts. He was able to speak. He could think kind of clearly, but like, that's not what a person's like when they're just about to die.
I'm hoping that we'll get a payoff later about that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's setting it up for something else, but I don't know.
That's a great point.
I'm hoping. If it doesn't pay off, then I'm going to be like, well, that was weird. But yeah, I mean, and then I feel bad for him because he can't access a lot of things because he has no way to pay for it because she's in control of it.
And I have to disagree with Ryan though, because like right at Wade, she was kind of acting.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Like when the little niece comes up to him and he's like, first of all, his partner doesn't like her, so that tells you something right there. But then also, like when the niece comes up to him and says, "Oh, can you help me with my dance homework?" She's like,
"Oh, I missed that." But
no, she was like, "Don't do it." And then like when she crawls up to him, she's like, "We're done here, right?" I was like,
she says that.
This lady's a bee.
And she's confused by the ambrosia salad.
Right.
And, like, she's just sort of like, you can tell she comes from a different.
I don't really eat poor people food, so I don't know what this taste is.
Yeah.
I don't know. All that stuff was still just kind of like a slight nuisance or a different kind of person. But it was once he was on the deathbed that I felt like I was like, whoa, they're really suddenly she's like completely acting like a different person, and he's dying but not really dying at all. And then
and
she starts crying, and he's like, "Don't cry. I'll do whatever you want. Don't cry."
Yeah, right. And it's your life. That was interesting to me too. And why does she want to control him so badly? I mean, she's going to be young and like still alive. Why would she? I don't know. I mean, and grief is a complicated thing, blah blah. But I mean,
you'd rather die than live with me for the rest of your life, or for the rest of your afterlife.
I mean, like that's a lot. That's a lot.
There was a funny line in there though when he says, speaking of which, when he says, "How long is that going to be?" And she says, 50 years, 60 if I eat healthy, right?
Right.
And then he said, and he's like, "Oh, that sounds so long," or something like that. And she says, "Well, I ate ice cream for breakfast." I was like, oh, that was funny. That was cute.
That was cute. Yeah, it was cute.
That's what I was saying. Like the humor, it's kind of cute humor. It's not like laugh your ass off humor. It's kind of cute little. Oh.
But there's already a mystery aspect to this.
Oh yeah.
How did he die?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, self-driving cars don't do that anymore. So.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Like, aren't self-driving cars supposed to be safe? Like,
yeah, at that time they are. There's like, I don't think that they're supposed to wreck at all.
Right. Well, there's clearly something there where he was killed on purpose, and there's some kind of problem there, which is why at the very end it shows somebody or something deleting his files. That
bothered me. That made me mad.
Yeah, so we know there's something up, that they're trying to get rid of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be the big story. And then Nora's going to, crack the code with him.
I like her.
Yeah.
I like Nora a lot. I like the actress too.
I liked her too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was really good at being natural, especially when she was at work. I thought that was her. She didn't work for me nearly as much when she was meeting him in person in the simulation.
Interesting.
She acted in it differently that I didn't think worked as well, but she was extremely natural, like when she was at work. I liked that a lot.
Her boss seems a bit over the top to me.
Yeah.
And I recognize that actress too. I can't remember her name, but I mean, I'm like, I see what they're trying to do, but I'm like, why are they having her go so past that? Like, just, it's almost like a caricature as opposed to like,
Yeah, it seems like all the characters, like
except
the
for her.
evil girlfriend,
They're all
the
characters.
kind of sweet love interest, the party boy.
I mean, and
Yeah.
maybe that's how they want it to be. And then like the voices for the audience are like the niece and Nathan and Nora, I think is, yeah,
Or,
Yeah.
Nora. And maybe that's what they're going for, but it's just interesting to me that I noticed that. Like, I knew they were trying to be funny with the boss, and I was like, I don't really find it funny. I don't know.
Here's a question I wanted to ask, by the way, guys. And yeah, the party guy's name is Luke. I just called him Cool Dude. Cool Dude. Cool Hand Luke. So here's a fun question. Who do you think is the lead of the series? If it's one person, who is the lead? Is it Nora or is it, what's his name, Nathan?
Nathan.
What do you think, Michael?
When Nora met Nathan, I think it's Nora. Mostly because she's the one that's still alive, technically. And she's the one that we first see, like right when the show opens up on the subway. And so that just kind of leads me to believe that they want us to follow her storyline. I mean, obviously they're both the leads, but I think if you have to look at one person as the lead, and I like to look at one person as more of a lead than the other one, I would say it's got to be Nora's story. She's got her dad who's obviously dying. He's got that terrible cough, and then she's trying to convince him to go to the afterlife. And like it's her struggles at work, and then she meets this cute guy at work. Aww.
What do you think, Heidi?
It's funny because like my trigger response was Nathan, but the feminist in me came up and was like, hold on a second, because like I'm all about like female filmmaker, like all this stuff. And yeah, I think it's a co-lead situation, which is good because statistics show that when there's a male and female co-lead, it actually more people watch than if it's just a male lead. But yeah, like it's interesting to me the way that my brain worked with that, where I thought, well, it's Nathan's story, but really isn't. It's both of them and how they relate to one another. So, because when we open on Nora, don't
Right.
we? She's like the first person we see. So that to me establishes that I don't think I could choose one. I think it's co, but like, and that makes me happy. I'm glad that there's a female lead in this. So
Well, the first person that we see is a person in a mask on the freeway.
I know, that was great. I was like, what the heck?
Some cool.
Oh yeah, what's up with the mask?
Yeah.
That was interesting, wasn't it? On the train, on the subway too, and stuff, or the metro.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in New York.
The coronavirus.
Yeah, so the reason I asked that was because I kind of initially, same thing. As soon as it starts, I'm like, okay, here's the lead actress. She's the lead. It's her story, this and that. But after the first few minutes, suddenly it's Nathan's story. Like, I mean, it was kind of like she was the lead at first. And it felt like for the rest of the story, it was him. We were following him. It was about him. And even what Nora was doing was for him and to him and about him and because of him. So I really don't know, because my initial thought was that it had to be her since she's the first person we see. But then after that, it was, at least in this first episode, it was his story that we were following. And she was the integral character in his story. So I don't know. That's why I was wondering. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She helps the man. She's there to help the man.
I mean, take it up with them. It's not yuck or yum. It's just that's just
it
what
can
we
be
see.
yuck for me if I want it to be. I can decide that. But I mean his story is interesting. I mean he's dead, so that's already interesting. So, she's the living person, he's the dead one.
That brings up another ethical question. Like, what is your spirit? Is it just all your memories? Is that what makes your spirit? I mean, they kind of hit on that at the end of Star Trek Picard too, like when they upload him to that new robot.
And which, by the way, how many of you couldn't see that coming? The second I saw they were making one, I was like, oh, that's where he's gonna go. Okay.
Right.
But they're pretty much saying that, and so it kind of irks me too, because like, okay, so her dad is saying, oh no, I want to go to real heaven, but then they have evidence that says, okay, that obviously your spirit is just all your memories because you can upload them and you can still be alive.
Yeah, I think, well, doesn't she even touch on that too? Because you don't believe that mythology or whatever it is anymore, do you? Or I can't remember exactly what she says.
She brings up some kid who chose to die rather than receive treatment or something like that.
Yeah, so I think it, I mean, I'm sure there are people in the world right now trying to figure out how to upload a consciousness. So I imagine if that ever is a thing that happens, which I have no idea if that's even possible, there will still be people that believe in heaven and afterlives and reincarnation and all that stuff. You know, I think it's more of a, you know, just sort of like your freedom of religion / choice / spirituality. But yeah, but it irked you? It bothered you?
Well, it's just kind of, I mean, I guess because I don't really believe that. Maybe it's like I don't think that. I think that there's more to the spirit than just all your memories, because that's kind of what it seems like they're saying is that all your memories is what makes you who you are. And,
yeah, like your brain chemistry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't believe that personally, but what do you believe? Leave us a comment. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
I'm just crazy, or maybe you have a better answer, or maybe robots are the future and they'll all be sentient and then humans will be erased from memory. So
I always make sure and tell my Echo Dot thank you whenever.
Just in
I
case.
appreciate her.
Just in case, so she doesn't get too upset and lead an uprising someday.
Yeah.
I think if we're ever going to get into that kind of technology, I think first is just keeping the brain going. That's really what it's going to boil down to. I think at first is figuring out a way to keep the brain going and not just brain function, but actual thought. And I don't know much about that subject, so I don't know how feasible that is right now or how far we are from that. But I mean, if we can keep blood pumping and we can keep, I mean, at this point, we've got things for disabled people where they can, with a thought or with their eyes, they can control, keyboards or, cursors on a computer, things like that. So who's to say that with similar kind of technology, we can find out, what happens in your brain when you're looking to your right. And so then they just attach a certain movement to that. And so suddenly you're just a brain that's having thoughts and controlling your external environment. That seems entirely possible. But do any of us actually want to live as just a brain? It just sounds gross, dude.
No, thank you.
It just sounds gross.
No, thanks. I'm good.
How would you be able to eat? Eating is one of the best things in life.
That's right. They could just stimulate that thing. They're like, ooh,
it would just give you
you're having a ho-ho right now.
Yeah. Kind of like what they do in the show, where it's like, they're not actually eating croissants or whatever it is that they're eating. They're just experiencing it as if they're eating, which releases all the dopamine. And
why did they stop breakfast at 10?
I don't know.
Are they just like sadists? I thought it was supposed to be like a nice thing. Like, why not just have it all day long?
Also, why is there a concept of time anyway? Like, I'm like, well, why are you keeping track of it? Like,
Luke says that the first uploads, they didn't have bowel movements, they didn't have eyelids, and they went crazy. Right.
Yeah, that was good.
So maybe they need a schedule.
Well, yeah, that kind of helps to explain that. Otherwise, yeah, like you're like, am I just like floating around in this weird afterlife? And yeah, like I don't have to eat, I don't have to urinate. Oh, man, that scene where he's
you liked that part?
Yeah, the pee. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah,
that was funny.
That was not funny to me.
Well,
I'm sure girls could do it too. It's okay.
Right.
It wasn't about that. It was just like, I don't really think this is funny. I don't know. Like, It was
if
just
you ever had a penis and you were in like peeing in a urinal, you've kind of gone back far to see how far you can
oh,
go so
okay.
you can still
Okay.
make it.
Okay.
And yeah,
What's your record, Mike?
not that far. My urine stream is not that strong anymore. Yeah.
Oh, does it die as you get older?
Well, I'm on dialysis, so oops.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think it
Not-
does. I think it does too. Actually, get weaker when you get
Yeah.
older too.
Mm.
But he does. The funny part was when he looks over at the bathroom attendant and he goes, "Anyone else do this?" He goes, "Yes, sir." Like he's happy for him. He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
The redhead guy that's like everywhere. He just
Right.
is the same servant all the time.
He's like the Janet from The Good Place,
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, that was the part where I was like, this is sort of gratuitous, and then I thought, but also there is like that whole like equation of comedy that if you extend something or repeat something for an extended period of time, that it gets funny because it's weird, you know. And I thought maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know, but maybe it's just because I don't have a penis and I can't be like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Joke for the guys. There you go.
Yeah, I wonder, would it have been funnier if it was just like a 5-second thing where he turns like this and it goes this way and he turns that way, goes that way. He's like, "Hey," and the guy goes, "Yeah," and then we move on.
That,
you know, would that have been
been funny? Yeah, that would have been funny.
Well, he was peeing for a long time too.
Yeah, it was a really long scene.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
What do you think, Michael? Funnier short or funnier the way it was?
I think it was funnier long. Yeah.
That's fair. That's
The
fair.
longer that pee stream got, the funnier it was. And the cool tricks he was doing with it, the Tony Hawk tricks he was doing with his pee.
He's doing parkour with his pee.
P-core.
P-core, yeah. Great minds.
I also enjoyed, there was the dead couple that he met when he looked out of his beautiful cabin with his view. It's the subtle comedy is what I like better. And I thought that the subtle comedy was great when, he's talking with the dead couple, and I guess they're all dead, but whatever. They were like, "Yeah, we just died, whatever." And when they tell him about breakfast, and so he says, "There's breakfast," and it just like turns him.
He's
and
like,
I don't know.
Way. And
That
then,
was funny.
I don't know
you know
why it
what?
made me laugh, but it was when they said, when the guy says, "There he goes, folks," and he goes, "New guy coming through." I don't know. That was fun
cute.
for me. Yeah.
It was. You know what I realized? I just remembered is that it reminds me of like The Sims. You ever played The Sims?
No.
I used to play it like in the early 2000s, and it sort of makes me think of The Sims. It's like you have to feed your, character. You have to, and it points them, and sometimes there's a thing above their head, in the show. If I remember correctly, I feel like I saw like a thing above somebody's head on it, like in The Sims. But
I
don't know.
notice that.
Y'all haven't played that game?
I've not played it. I've heard about it, though.
Yeah. If anyone out there who's played The Sims knows what I'm talking about.
Hey,
so Heidi doesn't feel alone.
Yeah, in the comments below, tell us your favorite thing about The Sims. I don't even know how to ask the question because I don't know anything. And your favorite character you've created on The Sims, or your favorite mission that you did, if they have missions.
I don't know. You just kind of build a house and have a family, and yeah, like it's extended now. I haven't played in a long time, but it was kind of fun. It was a fun
Tell us the favorite things in life that you missed while playing The Sims in the comments below. So, Heidi, let's talk about you for a minute, if that's okay with you.
Okay, sure.
So you are an actress. You're also a writer, producer. You do a lot of things in the sci-fi world, in the independent world as well. By the way, your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter handles are at Miss Heidi Cox. That's MS Heidi Cox. Tell us, what's this Chasing Fletcher Allen that we've heard so much about?
That is my short film that I co-wrote and produced and starred in with Phil Lamar as playing Fletcher Allen. And I co-produced it with Geekscape, which is Jonathan London's company, and Fonco, Fawn H. Davis's company. And it is in the film festival submission stage right now, which is kind of a weird territory at the moment, considering the climate with coronavirus and stuff. So
Right.
We haven't found a premiere home yet, but we are excited about it. I mean, it's about a woman who realizes, it's like the process of her realizing that she's enough. And I think I like it. It's more, it has more of a sweet tone to it as opposed to like an edgy, like, you know, which a lot of like indie short films have. And I think those are amazing too. This one's definitely family friendly as well. So I love it. I'm excited about it. I want to share it. You know, all the festivals are being pushed back or canceled. Some of them have been canceled.
Right.
Some people have made films that have gotten into like South by Southwest and now they don't get to premiere them the way they thought they were going to. You know, it's really
where'd you get the idea for this project? Because I know it's been a long time coming and it has like a really good origin story. You shot at some really cool stages. I've, you know, seen a little bit of the stuff. It's awesome.
Thanks. You know, it's loosely based on it's its own entity, but it's loosely based on my web series, which is called Stalking LeVar, as in LeVar Burton. And the tagline for that, I think, is a woman in search of a very important person. And that is on YouTube, and you can go watch that right now whenever you want on my channel, Dweeb Darlings. But the film is its own thing, and it definitely kind of piggybacked off of that, and it's based on certain things about my experiences in my life of just kind of discovering who I am and having confidence and realizing, sort of like becoming like that alchemist in your life where you realize one day that you're okay and you actually can do more than you even knew you could. And you don't even really, I don't know if you ever have that moment, like when you're an adult, where you kind of surprise yourself when you just take care of something and you're like, oh, I just did that. I didn't even know I could do that, but I guess I can, you know? And I think it's a really important story for women, especially because a lot of us have grown up being taught that we need to rely on people to do things for us. And it turns out that we don't always need that. I mean, sometimes humans do need help and it's okay to ask for it, but you know, finding yourself and your confidence it's really important. Your relationship with yourself is really important. So a lot of my story writing seems to be circling around that lately.
Speaking of which, very quickly, you were also had some things to say about domestic violence awareness. Do you have any like websites or anything you could share with us about that?
I don't have like my own personal website when it comes to that, but an organization that I really like that's local to Los Angeles is Peace Over Violence. They're really big about
violence.
Yeah, sorry. They are really big about educating, especially younger people, but not just about healthy relationships. I guess I'm a survivor of a domestic violence situation. Kind of grew up around it as well. So it's an outreach of mine that's really important. I work, when I go home to South Carolina, there's also a shelter that I usually work with, and they have a resale shop, and they're really sweet. They ask me to model their clothes when I go home, and they'll do like a really fun photo shoot, which hopefully helps bring people in so that they buy, you know, so that they buy these clothes in order to help keep the shelter afloat. It's called Safe Harbor. So
Safe Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is that easily found, like safeharbor.com, something like that?
Yeah, I think it might be safeharbor.org. I should have probably.
That's okay. We can Google it.
Looked that up for you.
Also,
but if you go to my Instagram handle.
Oh,
right. And if you go to my Instagram handle as well, like there is material, like there are posts from some of the photo shoots where I give the information. So.
Miss Heidi Cox. And also I wanted to make sure we didn't skip over too quickly, but the Stalking LeVar website is on your YouTube channel, and that's Dweeb Darlings. Is that right?
Dweeb Darlings is my production company, and it's also my YouTube channel. It just, you know, just think of Nerd Girls, but Dweeb Darlings, double D's, you know. So.
Why are we laughing? I don't get it.
Double D's.
It's a Brian.
I think it's important for female filmmakers to have a voice, and that's sort of what I try to do with the teams that come in and work with with us. And I'm also an ambassador for the Chimera Project, which is a nonprofit that helps support and empower female filmmakers and filmmakers who identify as female. So.
I hadn't heard of that one before.
Oh, really? Do you know America Young? She's one of the board members. Really smart lady. So, very, very good friend. Yeah,
Great.
I love it.
I
So
see it, CHIMERA project, nonprofit. It's great.
Yeah, it's usually in my, like, the signature in my emails too. If you ever need to go look, you can click on it. So
awesome. So we'll have all this information in the description box below. So if any of those things sound like something people want to check out, they can just check that out. Mike already pointed you in the right direction, so you know where to find that stuff.
Right there. Yeah.
That way
Yeah.
down.
Awesome. So, Michael, if you have any further questions no further questions, I've got a couple final things to hit up.
You mentioned Phil Lamar. That's the Phil Lamar who voiced Hermes on Futurama.
Yes, and
Yes,
Jack
yeah.
and like a zillion other characters. He's so
Right.
talented. Yeah. Yeah, I wish more people could see the film. I'm really excited for it to have its premiere and get some more eyes on it. He's so great.
Yeah.
You know? And he was just really gracious and kind and really fun to work with. There's a lot of other cool people in it too, like Cooper Barnes from Henry Danger, and I don't know if you know Damien Poitier. Let's see, Jenny Van Deen, who, do you know her, right? Because you know Casper.
No, I don't know any of these people.
Oh, really?
I know Phil Lamar. Like when you said that, I was like, wait, is that the guy who does Hermes?
And Eugene Bird also. Eugene Bird is in it. He was on Bones and.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, and Eugene does a ton of voice work as well. But off the top of my head, I can't remember. I know he does a lot of video games.
Nice.
But really fun people. Really, I was really lucky. We were super lucky.
It's always good to hear when you hear that like celebrities are like nice people, because it's like you hear so many horror stories and.
Yeah, I know, right? And sometimes from the ones you don't expect. Like, oh, they seem so nice. And
right.
Or sometimes they don't seem nice, and you're like, actually, that dude was pretty cool.
Yeah. Or
he's
you
just
never
a
know.
good actor, yeah.
He had a good breakfast.
Some people are just having a bad day too. Who knows? I can't imagine having to be on all the time.
Yeah.
But
speaking of which, now we're about to close out the show with the segment that Michael likes to call the Terrible Twos. Starting now, he likes to call them that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make that up, but I do like that. So.
Oh, thank you. So it's just two questions. Number one is scale of 1 to 10. What would you give the first episode? By the way, where are my manners? The first episode is called Welcome to Upload.
Welcome to Upload, yeah.
So what did you think of that episode, scale of 1 to 10, Michael?
I would give it a 7.
What about you, Heidi?
I'll give that an 8, actually. Yeah.
Nice.
Ryan?
Nice. I'm feeling around the 7 realm too. I felt like a 7. I almost wanted to change it when you stole my answer, Michael, but I'm sticking with my guns. So I give it a 7 because the story, the concept, the lady, the leads. I like the lady more than the dude.
Right.
But they're all high marks. The comedy kind of low marked, and where the comedy was placed, like when the guy's, dying and they're making weird. I'm like, is he dying or are we just joking about? So I was just lost. I didn't know what to expect. So maybe if I knew that it was a comedy, I'd be ready for it. So, but anyway, 7. Now the second question is, and this is really the big one. This is why people watch this show, because by the way, we watched the first episode so that you don't have to here at Fallingtower. This is our 20th anniversary, by the way, 20-year anniversary of Fallingtower. I know. No, we don't joke on this show. We would never.
No. Except always. That's not a joke. That one wasn't. That one was real, yeah.
Which the always or the?
I guess you just have to watch to find out.
Yeah. So here's the big question. We watched the first so that you don't have to, but Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, after watching episode 1 of Welcome to Upload, would you watch the second?
I would, and I'll tell you one thing that I think that they do really well in this show is the mystery aspect of it. They keep you guessing, and they keep you wanting to know what's going to happen.
Heidi, theoretically speaking, would you watch the second episode?
Oh, absolutely. I would binge this whole series. I want to see what happens. I'm excited.
I think that's a 3 for 3. I would watch the second because the story is good enough to keep me interested, and the idea is I feel like we should be like on like that, what's the Simon Cowell show where it's like, that's 3, you're going to Hollywood, you're going to be watched, you know.
You're streaming on televisions all across America.
Well done, you.
Oh, we all did it now. Well, that's good. Good to know. Bonus question. This is the bonus question. The writers, or the one writer, let's get into their heads. What do you think, if they wrote that first script in one day, what do you think the writer had for breakfast that morning that inspired him or her to write this? Oh, Heidi's laughing. Okay, we got to go with Heidi.
No, I'm not laughing because of what I thought. I'm just like, how am I supposed to know that? I mean, everybody has a different need in the morning. So I don't know. Like, some people are vegan, some people aren't. They had a croissant and coffee. I'm sorry, croissant.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So croissant and cafe. That's a good one.
Oui.
What about you, Michael?
I think spicy spaghetti.
For breakfast. Wow.
Delicious.
With a hot cup of mud. I don't know.
I think, and this just came to me, I think he, she, or they had generic brand Raisin Bran. Because it was like there was the sensible stuff, but there was also some fun little raisins in there, you know, but not like too much fun, just like kind of fun raisins. And since it was like generic brand, you know, it wasn't like what you expected. It kind of kept you guessing. You know what to expect with regular Kellogg's Raisin Bran, but generic brand, you're like, is it going to be good? Is it going to taste like sawdust? Is it going to be too crunchy and hurt?
There's really only 1.5 cups of raisins in this one.
As opposed to 2 scoops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's good.
It's a good metaphor. I like that.
Thanks.
I just guessed croissant because of all the pastries that were in the.
I didn't put any thought into mine. I just tried to say something funny. So.
What was it? Maple bacon donuts or something? Isn't that?
That's what they said. So if you did write this episode, let us know in the comments below what you did have for breakfast. But until then, I think we're going to end the show and move on. Remember, this is Falling Towers Watch the First podcast, where we watch the first episode of a show. If you want us to watch and review the first episode of a series, it could be any streaming service. It could be television, if anybody still uses those items. It could even be a YouTube thing. It could maybe be your web series. We prefer nerdy stuff. Just tell us WTF Seinfeld below, WTF Frasier, WTF the Kramer spinoff show that never happened. Any of those things down below. Heidi made a face when I said that. She thinks that sounds terrible.
No. About what?
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
You said it could be a YouTube show, and I'm going, that's all. I was just doing that.
So that's about it for us. Remember, it's the WTF podcast where we watch the first episode so that you don't have to.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. As Ryan would say, smash that subscribe button.
Smash that bell icon. Heidi, what would you say about
we don't
the
really
bell
talk
icon?
like that, but
what would I say about what?
About the bell icon, if you want them to click the bell icon.
Oh, ring that bell.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Who sang that song? That ring.
Donna Summer? Donna Summer? I don't remember.
I don't know if we could use that licensed music.
A little bit before my time.
And now we're going to close out with this. This podcast was pleasant, fun, and warm.
This podcast was cute comedy.
This podcast was better than Death to Smoochie.
Aw, we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Great. We'll see you next time on Falling Towers. Watch the First podcast, where we watch the first episode so you don't have to.